so bi e wo ha ye bedi ho enkomo e na afen so ye Adu Boahen a wa chiro love letter e de free yoko e de akoma national security se sika no se mo pese mu hu se wono nko na odi ye de enye ono kwa na odi to wa chechim ba bi sika no nyina ekokoye e no so ho asem e wo pono so e na afen so save the judiciary demonstration a course so e say afenjoma kene Ghana Police Service e ko head on ono si police ni abono video no so e ba che say afenjoma kene ball post ni nasum enti as say post ni na di kan ball no say for now no de ene me say after investigation say na be hu asem na kasa said ye see ATM this and other issues hu hia see e di hu nkomo no na na no pay ye tena say na ye di hu nkomo menu abema Ivan Kyei innocent wo aha Listowel enso enche obejoin ne yen innocent boko de
nyame adom ya
nyame ase obika ye say sunsumpe na emre
for God and country
to da bia na otumi se body no abre na so oye ho hwie enye yi enra say me ye late kakra because na the wa mabre no afedia me see me ye dan yan so say me ko adwumanti na say me sorry
people are waiting to hear from you. You know, you sometimes but you can't afford to disappoint them. That is the thing.
And it's innocent abaye share your issues no as me sure say you started with 120 days no you wi ani Adu Boahen issue no eso but we be joining and na fair the conversation no. So far so good 120 days social contract 25 policies and our president share your home but so far let me say why 25 is in progress our must say one more year right boss will be the your take on 120 days no.
Yeah, I think na mention what here for na menka say 120 days of President Mahama in office. Even if you take out the numbers, now had the atmosphere in this country, how some so far no the 120 days of his governance has been able to inspire certain confidence and hope in even the investor community. And now has said the citizens are stabilizing this kind of way. Clearly, even if you don't like politics, if you don't like the government to cry now, you need to cut him some slacks. Indeed, there has been a significant change happen in this country. And if you go on various platforms, so where comments people are making about Ghana, I can right track because the 120-day social contract estimate out of the frustration and the concerns that Ghanaians had prior to the elections. Na Ghana for bebre esen ebubonuyam because of the way and manner things were happening. We got to a point arrogance abaye the signature way na underpinning politics in this country, where you see executive were taking decisions. Those decisions were seem very unintelligent and very foolish. But we are Ghana and nobody will listen to you. For instance, the E-levy Brohahada came. Ghana for in a concerted effort rose against this particular thing. But the Omokachi and say they will pass it. And several other nasty stuff went on in this country. You see, governance sometimes it's not just about it's about how our government is very responsive and receptive to the concerns being raised by the people of this country. So we are buying now. We are being said media metitable whatever your concerns are, no, just bring it up. I will look through and try to do something. And then the Mahama administration, the last 120 days, a lot of people, even a lot of critics, are more marking A, B plus because it's a Professor Day. Or say, even if you are enemy of the government, clearly, because there is no sensible mind out there. Only what has gone on in the last 8 years. Now, within the 120 days, there hasn't been a dramatic turnaround so far as the entire governance of this country is concerned. For instance, now you can't about the huge size of government. Akufo-Addo made us understand, we needed a crowd. Let's say that particular assertion edify existing theory of modern governance. Talking about efficiency. Go in efficiency where you multitask people. One person can do several jobs. You don't need a lot of people. When you pull in crowd to a government space, you only create avenue of inefficiency where people will just take money and nothing happens. And truly, Akufo-Addo could not defy that theory. At the end of the day, his government turned out to be the most useless government in the history of this country, even though other governments are setting up the largest number. So we are President Mahama now sitting in the sidelines, now promising the people, say, I've seen big size of government, any impact be so far as good governance is concerned. So I will cut down the size of government. And truly, that is one of the key things that he did. Slashing down the size of government. Apart from the economic benefit, I come with such bold initiative, me say it was symbolic relevance to the people, because when Niema were going wayward, everybody was saying, I didn't think Akufo-Addo and downsize his government just to ensure that. At some point in time, Oko Jubilee House, every single person be a gallivanting, be a huna or a presidential staffer, and these people were taking huge sums of money. People were traveling, allowances, car, and so for fuel. Then as for no more deco. Sanyama Winina came on the state and financing the inefficiencies and the fancy fixtures of some of these jokers who were just masquerading around the corridors of power. And Wabanas were cutting down the size of government. Apart from what that symbolic relevance, and also feed it into the Ghana for abiding with TAM, because these are some of our concerns, and the government has listened to us. So for me, I think it's a good call. And again, they offer 120-day social contract. Now, some of the basic initiatives that he told the people of this country, all of them so far has been implemented. And most of them has to do with significant breakthrough. For instance, now make a coders way, and the world is going digital. Our country try to reposition the young people to take advantage of the digital economy that is emerging. And it's a who training people in IT and as far. We are not only training them to equip them with skills, but rather giving them an avenue to go to the world out there and exploit. Because if you are technologically savvy, you can survive in this digital inspired world. And we are not drawing back, we are going forward. You understand? This Ajumawura initiative, young people, that people have entrepreneurial skills. How do we job creators and not job seekers? And now if you go to our universities, people come out of the university, everybody want government job. How much? An average Ghana has a what take his salary 3,500. Now what's a crown now with 3,500? How can you survive? Now with a cover now with a bob now they bebo. Just a chrono now the bebo. You understand? So if you are becoming a job creator, now one kasa in terms of entrepreneur and as a forum, you become something valuable. Recently, one of the private schools. You pay 800 Ghana cedis. Then I convinced her to stop because Nensa eye, what mean Nensa ye cake in as a phone, and then she agreed. Or abandon school, no. Now, just say. No, the boldness to do that, no, but then now frame me. Jaya says, the cake, and then you could see within a month, she can get more than 2,000, 3,000. That's so cheap, baby. You understand? So if you're able to create job, not say a man for job creators and not job seekers. These people will go extra to inspire others and so forth. In creating economy, that's what you do, because you see. The economy a grow a aggregation of all economic transactions across the country, both private and public, and come together to grow economy. When transactions is changing hand and as far and a grow economy. Now one person here where we are going bank account more. So for me, I think John Mahama has so far set the stage, and some now catch the Ghana for so by he's working. Some of them are just implementation, though we need to monitor their progress. But for me, I think significant portions of those promised, because he was very specific about 120-day social contract. And for me, for instance, this levy betting now one of the major concerns and I Ghana forward, because me send this way better from your bank account to wallet, from wallet way this near my way a man for and take part in this digital monetary from 90 some of these Ghana for you could see say I am ready, say I will listen to your concerns. I am very receptive to the more party. And again, one of the key also has to do with institutions. Then as a former Chief Justice Sharia Baya Semia. and Nema na Ghana for it to about to reset, Don't forget, it's a key component of it. The institutional weaknesses and to the sense that we got to a point that all major state institutions, when were cowed into subjugation, operating at the behest of those in power. Because court, for instance, there are some court not a favor government that swiftly the Chief Justice will empanel. Say any other institution be police for am for demonstration be na yakotwe bagu omo so na ye bro am for go form Oliver na na se for on several occasions slept in police custody na se for they were denied bail omo nkoku nipa omo nko wi abayere the word that they did they say nkrofo bi omo wa aban no mu e2 galam say ye nsase enti ye demonstration jail e what I say but then these people, demonstration, actual petition, the common president. And I make I say these are a bunch of shameless cowards. Nobody should take them seriously because in just few days ago, not nipa intiminya demonstration will come say. But then now a certain atmosphere has been activated. A spy hope once you are operating within the remit of the law, nobody will come after you. So if I'm sitting here and I'm judging President John Mahama by his 120 days, I can say so far so good. And personal decisions regarding some of the things that he's taking. For instance, with this Code of Ethics here, do you know that aspect is sitting in our constitution for so long? No president has even looked at it. So at the end of the day, people get to high offices of government and they think office in your bona fide property. People become so much arrogant to the extent nipa no ya wadam for crying no uhuru na okasa no all of a sudden when you to me. Yes, that is how your friends say unwitty some of these people are. But I will set up these red lines. Now catch the people say office in a media mamono. Central to everything that you do is humanity. Don't speak to people in a way on their nerves because the government must appear good in the eyes of the people. Because I can just say it is the goodwill of the people that will sustain and fuel the sustainability of whichever government. And we are pointing kasa boom boom boom. Who did the amount for them that kasa fee about radio so that arrogant speech in as a form man. I know the day a government and I wouldn't any form because a meraba Ghana for the catcher say enough is enough. So who be look at what happened in Akufo at the time. Not because the country was going that bad, but the attitude, the intransigence on the part of those in power. Asama bombe timie bi omo Kenyans asama chire nipa na nipa TV so ke kan kwase asam sabi e chire Ghana for. When you do these things, another day you get people angry. Governance, me say the central key is humanity. So say nipa na ba ho so obepem wana wunni bia kan kasa da chire no. Don't insult people. Obi fraud say your friends have why you busy you can send a person a text message I'll call you back those kind of because of what you there man obi am fraud once you occupy a position people will come to you. It's natural, you understand. You need to grow and become a mature person and know how to deal with some of these things, and if you cannot do it just get out, go home. What you fear obi no about
private business
nobody will come there but because you occupy a certain position, a position in the that is the mistake people do. If you are sitting in an office as a CEO and people are coming to you, they are not coming because you are the CEO. They are coming to the office CEO because you as a person in there, you can go and come anytime. And the office, there is no single officer who occupy or now now even the presidency now, President Mahama Baby Otinokrano, Rollins until 21 years. Rollins and so you must be narrow-minded individual to think me power. And me and Obiaka minti Akufo Addo betina kromo se ye money chenzo na wo enfa okọ party ase a akonwa nam se we su kra note so first on na na akonwa di na chi so exactly enti wo ye nipa na se wo ma wadwen eye adwuma na hu se governance power ni nyina is about serving humanity. It's an opportunity for me to be at the good side of people. I think that will be good. So I'm happy President Mahama has looked at this key thing and he should make sure say any appointee be anything be identity the credibility of the government, that person has to be sanctioned. Sabaya Ghana for betimi nya hope say and ye who things different because you see the scars of bad governance Akufo Addo on our conscience, they are so fresh and so reminding. So some appointees be and the omo ye no a reminder of those dark way na. I know the day no I say yekoya na ya buy. And my culture say your democracy at the last leg of Ghana democracy jina so this Mahama 4 years. Say nema nkoya Ghana for abandon democracy completely. And that is the caution that we need to keep it at the back of our minds. If we don't take care and sustain and fuel the trust and confidence people have in the political establishment, so-called democracy this time around, now we lose it forever. Because look at how Ghanaians are cheering a cool leader in Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
The gentleman is a cool leader. Ghana for some things you need such a situation because you see over the years, you know, the democracy some idiots, quote unquote, have power and so people think if we go the hard way, but for me, I think that's all the best. Why if only we will do it and do it well? Okay. But unfortunately, in recent times, near man doesn't show sabi. Nema be way and we a president you need to realize Bakacha said human being bad. No human being was created to be good. We were created to be bad, but you learn to be good. And if you fail to learn to be good, people will collect to their destructive best because that is who we are. So we need to weave framework. Papa, these are the red lines you don't go beyond. You understand? Tetina emrani hona na yetino. Obetimi da sore those hunting and gathering days, you know. If you were curious na wuni aduana na hu se wunua no owo aduana wo ha. Wotimi koptwa jato ne dan mu no wase no wasesa ne nua no. That is what they were doing because na emra bibia ni ho. That is the core side and the party. Whenever ho kire wa you will do everything to survive. Even if you have to kill the other guy, you will do that to ensure that you survive. And emrane nhyehyeye and say da ho. Sabaya obia betena and do your mind na wo hu sa ande ma no and we video framework and structure to regulate human behavior. You should know say every human being has potential to be evil. You need to take away incentives and opportunities and manipulate evil. And by doing so, you create effective laws and red lines. If you cross, there are consequences. Nema akoso okroma corruption and as if the state has been very reluctant in dealing with some of these things. We have never been combative or very frontal in dealing with some of these things. So for the first time, I want to see, and I can say I see different John Mahama this time around. Yeah, somebody who is very bold, precise, clarity of thought. There is no ambiguity on the choices that he makes in as a forum. Because you see, as president at this time, you have nothing to lose. At the end of the day, people are not going to count the number of houses you have, the number of money you have in your account. People are going to judge you based on the legacy you leave behind. So you need to make that imprint on the minds of Ghanaians. Sebaya Ghana for be fail. You understand? Sadia na nkroma be ye ne obi ade kai no because metimi akoyi slego akotema akohwan minim ba bia nkwa fie but every day the name nkroma a ring a bell on our conscience because onya power no wamfa medi nsem hunu akofo ado nya power okroma say no say ye nto nwom. This a gentleman all beba power no na manfo abra na obekọ no na makola for manya no mbabo for match no because of abrabobone a obebo e okroma say so power no a very powerful tool. Either it will make you famous or you use it to defame yourself, depending on your choices. So as president, I think that President Mahama being president before and having the opportunity to come back, and no look through the mirror. I know say he knows what to do to survive because at this time you don't allow anybody say obesami agugarim as president. Because Ghana for their minimum appointee bia, minimum appointee bia. No, nobody's looking at any appointee. They're looking at the president. So you need to be very strong, very assertive, very decisive, and very precise. Obedience, you go after. Nipa disika make sure say you the person who face prosecution jailer manenko many profession say government no enye avenue e de kopesika ene umo obi position first question e be say a juicy position na wo border wo bia na wo ko bia obi say had the scanny hakra exactly so the mentality to go and serve is to go and make money. So we need to weave framework. Then as a foreigner, especially this time that a lot of young people are coming with a lot of your friends say fancy dreams. Then as a foreigner, one check your muye whenever I answer a man for sit down by here this or musi and need na by your mind seeker. Me say this time round, no, we cannot trek back. So for mine, it doesn't matter where you stand across the political divide. We will go after you as a country because a sacred responsibility to ensure, say, we protect the estate. And we are Ghanaian, your allegiance should be to the flag of this country, to the constitution, and to the people of this country. I'm going to paramount. Anything is secondary, and for me, that is what we need to do.
Okay. All right, my young call Adu Boahen, and no letter now, love letter now, what Chroba, Biama, security, and Saka be patchon. Near woman, medical boss on a panel at the show. Or see 8.3 million was disbursed in September 2024 to provide an unnamed opposition party with communications equipment for election coalition, justified as ensuring stability of nation, national cohesion, and political impartiality. And until or say opposition party be. Among the 8.3 million Ghana cedis, MSA opposition party ni say all fankoto equipment. Minimum say yeti Ghana hano abain to equipment ma political party be eti ni baby sefa koto equipment ebe quality or resource. Eti anu wasem no say 960,000 was paid to the Defense and Interior Committee, and it say yesha Defense and Interior Committee no ya one man also from 2017 to 2020 ya de pass act no, and now say ya one man also from 2021 no, and na say no can the Japan chairman. I think 2017 also no na obi mirefi meboni din actual also na no ye committee chairman e was so it was say committee no so be hu say sika no mo sa kan bia na say wo mo sa anka bi owi e was say additional 309,000 yeah, the Comma Subsidiary Legislation Committee and no our parliament and also Wasem Enonom. We was 5.1 million was spent on luxury vehicle 2024 Nissan Petrol and a Land Cruiser. Yeah, just say special aid to the president-elect 2024. Now say special aid for President Mahama Asem working. Say 2024 na no president-elect. And also eka niema or less no eho. And was 9.5 million was for cyber surveillance solution, and so 6.9 million for Operation Conquered, first counter-terrorism effort between 2020 and 2024. Mr. Adu Boahen say, says Kyei, wamu di biso echo Operation Calm Life. Tama no amo say Operation Galam Stop. Tamani yesi yen stop galam say na ekufado ete task force say omo eni asoja fo nkambom no mo enko stop galam say no sika no e won so ebi ekọ ho owi na waka say one na yere private account na abamu ne de wo mo set sa account no say e bia aban pesika bi hyehyehye ni manum ya no na mo de akoyi free sa account ni individual person or sign ayima aban. All right, innocent.
Yeah.
Adu Boahen afa de love letter de abanie.
Mama menka say you see agro wa manfo ni so kromba as ensemhunu a we don't even need to be discussing some of these things. But abanasa because makacho say you know we media no affizity on sensational news, those kind of stuff. As my brand can hear complete nonsense. This is your friend say in summer we need to just trash it, and because in some kind of just and I doubt say every no there I'll be very surprised. Because me I think it's one of those diversional taxes in as a even let's say some all can no correct.
Yeah.
Negate the fact that monies were stolen from state account. Doesn't negate the fact that he cloned state bank account, transfer money from this account to this account, and at the end of the day, no, we cannot find those monies. Isn't it the fact that he bought estate houses? He paid cash $1 million. Has he been able to tell us where he got those money from? And this is absolute nonsense. You see, we invest too much in emotional politicking. So if you know bad, don't deal with the fact. Sway the whole nation to the emotional line, you will survive. And that's exactly what is happening. At the end of the day, National Signals Brew, and your more finance opposition parties to buy is absolute nonsense. And the opposition party, I won't country. Be bold enough and mention who you gave the money to. You understand? Even if you gave the money to somebody, even in the NDC, we don't care. All we know is that you stole money. And we want you to account. The other command, financing That is not your business. You see, we are not living in a banana republic where monies can move from one account to any other account. Yeah, there is a legal framework where monies can go. Baby, as a sika kwane de asa wode ye. Anything outside your mandate, or your mind sika kwa ya we for. And now say you have willfully caused financial loss to the state. And this guy has foolishly caused financial loss to the state. All that he's doing is to implicate a lot of people, because the very moment he's able to rope in NDC, communicators, me say man, then we've balanced the equation. Then the focus will move from Adu Boahen, then some more crime opposition. This is absolute rubbish that nobody should even consider. The questions I was is what we need to. Monies were given to you as director of National Signals Bureau. Monies, you cloned and created a separate account bearing the same name. The criminal intent alone can land you in jail. Because you're not supposed to do that. Then the gentleman went ahead to transfer money from this account to this account. What is his explanation? Says state in here is emergency or what state account they will transfer from You see, we don't need to give oxygen of publicity to some of this nonsense. See, yes, I need party seminar. Me say on my way the because people will steal and will always find a way to spin narrative. Sabi about survival. Because never na branch na ya no crash say sabi onim nyansa. And na catch on because explanation ya obai. And the not just all beka. Sa attach ya na kan yo say why na kan yo. And you manufacture this nonsense, push it to the media, and you want the reasonable men of conviction in society to say why are there. No, so what is the motive behind this particular thing? Or beka when ya kasa there why are there na? Because you are not supposed to be financing political party within the operations of winning and Kahon. Again, are you supposed to finance your friends in Parliament? Parliament through the Sika Mobia, why not the moment, and you were doing as for them. Sikana or the Kokoto estate in as for them. I think so. You see, this thing is absolute nonsense. Focusing in the Attorney General. So you see, there be a Ghana General. Adia ba ko ama Ghana for to abati akufuado corruption. And Ghana need every single reasonable minded person out there is suspecting say the John Mahama government will be very radical, very vicious in dealing with some of these ruthless criminals. We don't care how you do it. Once you are within the remit of the law, you make sure that these criminals, these organized criminals, don't get away with their crime. It doesn't matter how they try to spin the narrative. In the coming days, they will be mentioning names specific, trying to accuse and implicate individuals. I don't care even if you give money to John Mahama. I don't care. Because I never do this movie. What I said. So how you wasted those monies in as for them? The Ghana for you nimni say yeah this ukoji sikasa with the koto surveillance equipment. In the end, you didn't buy. You ended up using the money to buy private properties. And I wouldn't send nimni you did all these transactions using bank account, doing transfer. When you know say this transfer or always leave a back trace. Now say obia cracket or primary school grab boss and no way. And this weak-minded person was the person mining said the whole intelligence organization. That tells you how porous this country is. If this weak-minded individual and are now in charge of the national security, it tells you the kind of national security that we had at the time. They are just exposing themselves, and I'll be very surprised if attaching as a person went through this thing and let it out. You see why recent time people are losing a lot of respect for so-called lawyers. Because you see, a lawyer is not about the degree on paper. It is about the clarity of thought, the reasoning acumen that you have, and how you are able to decipher things. Who said, "Never way as a way a reasonable men of society will not agree to this, they will impugn it, and once they impugn it, our integrity will become a casualty." If you are a lawyer and you don't look at some of these things and you think it's just political, we can just spin and throw this thing out there, me, I will see you for who you are, because when I see you next time, I will never respect you. You understand? But unfortunately, the Ghana and Kwane Kaso because school, they just also do one dance. I just call them for certificate the bachelor answer. But yeah, you can't be a learned or be a very intelligent. You don't need a certificate. When the person open their mouth and they're talking, you should be able to know, this guy is very smart, very intelligent. That is all that you go to you. certificate be do one dance answer. And that just nam no we have the COVID na nam. What are some American? We really need to be very serious in this country. Attorney General, when the prosecution delay, cross that Ghana for a form.
Yeah.
I know how ready they are. Say abanye now issues of this nature, you toy with it. Now they don't go through with prosecution. Trust me. After 1 year, the government will get dirty. So they need to do everything to ensure that these criminals and several other criminals out there, we go after them. Yeah, it's not just this one. Now, no, me can't sky training as a form. Yeah. Attorney General should make sure that because these people getting them prosecuted is so easy. Because even how they conceive those stupid ideas, enough to land them in jail. For instance, yes, a sky train. Training the numbers as a cranny, and do more dama. Yeah, over Tenase as a board chairman, the pen and see papers. Oh, Matthias, Yamon Kofa, the Edbefa William Numera, Chrome had trainer from crying Nibi. So that silly conception of an idea, Nankasa, is enough to land you in jail. And at the end of the day, they went ahead, pumped $2 million into an offshore account. But see, sky training your mind. Now, who could jail will easy? You see, we need to begin to allow people to suffer for their crimes. For instance, now make about the National Cathedral. It's one thing that I bind a giant man that I will never forgive them. Yeah. Because we all saw from the beginning. Even young men in this country they don't hold PhD. Yeah. They are not lawyers. Yeah. They are not medical doctors. They could see from their house that this was a stupid initiative that the state was venturing into. We have a and then India, in terms of technology, rise to a point and America, most of the companies are outsourcing most of their jobs to them in terms of IT. And do for a bank, me person me who me bank balance and as for now you route to call to somebody in India or never more responses and as for because those jobs has been outsourced. Telecommunication companies in as for if you want clarity, they will route the call to other places because these people have become technologically savvy. People are taking advantage. So we are Maya. You train your people to take advantage of the digital economy. Yedi enyesikano, yesi di kosi cathedral na nyame boni ache na wo dama adwen we ye the 12th century ye mfa ntena ha say. That's why I told you say, yakofa oyefanse yakofa we are living in a digital world and yakofa nipa o 12th century and edi o ba begum and o mu di nsem hunu mayen. Enti cathedral sem na eba ye nya sofo akasefo mo aban kutupa ene 58 akoshiagu mahu say yes ye audit na se single silly decision that was made. Me it is all about sikana yachi no even ideas now if it is foolish we need to sanction people for that. And for me that is what we need to do to set a stage say so we are CEO we are government and as here the oman bibisha wonsa. Yeah. You cannot be taking foolish decisions. Are those decisions, our high stake implication on the fortunes of this country and get away because you are CEO? We need to make sure that we punish people for their crimes. So, Attorney General, there, or somebody, I'm telling you, because if he doesn't go through with this prosecution, every will be Ghana. I'm telling you, because the heat that will be coming. I'm telling you, because Ghanaians will never forgive him, and I know he will do. So I'm cautioning him, and I'm also urging him, he should go ahead. He should not lose focus. Some of these things coming up are absolute nonsense. Some of this nonsense being manufactured will be coming up, but he should be very careful, stay focused, and make sure. A single person be our enough way on him will be prosecuted because that is what Ghanaians want. They want the judiciary to be sanitized. Yeah. They want criminals to go to jail just to send a message to people within this government. Say, that is the fate awaiting you. You see, over the years, people sitting afar are coming to a conclusion that there is a certain collusion between both political parties to steal. That is the impression out there. So if you don't do that, then it will go to your friend saying, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. But we saw how these people stole with impunity, disrespected the people of this country. Make sure say even Ghana for more sika investment these unwitting criminals cannot go scot-free. We need to make sure that we punish them for who they are, for what they have done for against this country. Going forward, because Adia ba kwa wo your minor will fail to punish crimes.
Yeah.
Or minor so we state that there are two things you cannot do: show weakness, show mercy. The very moment you begin to do some of these things, you are done. But Obia will take advantage. Oh, the Muhammad, the Betchay, oh, wait there. And Chrome has a assembly now, software now him for Nam Dance from Copacha. President, you can never come to me so a patcho. Because I don't know about that jail. Oh, because assembly and Semuna don't come to me. Now you know whom and him cry, you will not even come. You will not even come. So a patcho. So we need to do that. South Korea, are you aware that I'm president? The whole president. This is not the first time. Previous president because of Samsung way on jail and several other high-stake individuals in other jurisdictions have suffered for some decisions that they made. Bagana how people prison or you hear near or be contomere or hear near or comedy now now people are stealing with millions, and the same poor people in the name of emotion will come and they'll be singing praises for some of these criminals because we are a party for Nippon what I say. We need to protect their state and some of these things. So some of these things, a section of the media will be spending it in a bid to justify for some that kind of false equivalence and as well. But you see, no smart or witty mind out there will fall for this crap. Nonsense is nonsense that has been manufactured just to sway the focus. But I am urging the Attorney General to stay on his ground and make sure, sir, he prosecute these people. The prosecution has started. He should not waver. He should go ahead and do it. Some of these nonsense will be coming about.
Because we run a letter now. The one come once a year. The transaction between Ghana Water Company Limited and the private account.
Yes.
Because the 1.3 million Ghana cedis every month. That is that is 1.3, right?
Oh yes.
Because 600,000 Ghana cedis and there was a for every 2 weeks. To Kaboma, that's 1.3.
Yes.
Yes. And no there one come once because and no was a Sikano qua buying account.
Yes.
But one no just Sikana, no what short check, no what diverted their call in a private account.
Yes.
Services and also internet service. No, I buying there.
Yes. And you see that you no appointee, even President Mahama Kra a new right to move state money to his private account for no reason. And nobody should be defending these things. I don't know why people are able to find energy and conviction to defend some of this nonsense. The mere fact that the gentleman cloned account and signatory to those accounts, account, that is criminal intent, can be established, and you need to suffer for that. So where you transfer money to, radio now finance you cannot use that to wriggle out of the Nema. What I say, the mere fact is that Niemana Woyano were in direct contravention with established rules of engagement, bad books of the government, and then you have to be dealt with. Simple as that. Baby, as Sikano coin as for we can later do with it. But for me, in some kind of question, because when I was here, say, with Sikano Kutia Israeli company, so how come they never catch and say, oh, the financing way? Sikano move from an account there to Todano Kamasem, where he was able to pay for those Sikano Kamasem. Nayere properties are only in her name or Kamasem. A job Ben and all you come here, or to me, any Sikano. That is why I make a choice. This lifestyle audit, we need to be very, 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 very way. Many property as people are in government today, we should put surveillance on every single individual. They are pushing money to properties they are buying, and their strategy. Most Ghanaian politicians say they will steal money, buy property, and they will put it in somebody's name.
Yeah, often it didn't. So
no.
So tracing it will even be difficult.
About 90% of Ghanaian politicians steal money, they buy properties, and they registered in relative or distant friend their name. So we are say state, and that is why we have intelligence these things. Say state near ready to delve into some of these things. You'll be able to find out and deal with them, and that is the best way. Some of these things for me, I won't fall for some of this nonsense.
All right, my make sure message is 1 or 2 now. Remember Ivan Sobak, Ebenezer, moto wudin de em say e yo de shadow tabo ne ye e ma wo say no krepa e na mo ka no ya Tracy Bensa wo say until I see these criminals and people going to jail Joma Hama you are not doing anything extraordinary. Yes. I swear.
Yes.
Conscious agbenu akosu wo say I trust innocent na nani age wo say Osi de kobiti na okaye no na nani age ho a wo hu do ye na Tracy emu de hin na am wani abra wosire but I think say Tracy asem na wa chro no deep it have it to take a deep minded person. Yes. To understand because that na make say Ghana for by a troye no ora na na magana vo ani abre to aba no vim ne ade to aba ni na e ora because ya nim se nkofo bi awia yen. Yes. E na te se de innocent Kyei ya chi ni pa no ahya se no obubodi we ka ho se de be ya ebe ya te se onu kwa na nko onye ahio na wodi sika ni mani pa na adwen be na ta chira wodi sai sika wan na soma asafa sika man obi when ni papa mu aka we o se ya de to bolem e na ade bi ma parliamentary select committee na ade bi ma ahwan yo ya to twire bolem intention nkwampo ya criminal
memfi no you see we I old playbook. Yeah, if you go back to Colombia
we me de anya za no kan e na mo jijimi amebodi na aye kwamsi na asem na
enye ne oko Colombia Pablo Escobar days. Do you know what he was doing? Oton drugs okunipa ye bi onya sika no wi na ochema ahiafo. That was what he was doing, financing poor people. But it doesn't justify say
exactly the point.
It's an old playbook criminals have been using. El Chapo in the offense in Mexico. That's exactly what he's doing. They will sell drugs to destroy people, kill people. Onyesika na what you feel here ni what me bra $1 million for bra. But does it justify that?
Not at all.
The money is a crime money. You understand? It does not justify. So the Attorney General needs to sit up. There are a lot of I know be framing. Also 120 days, whatever. They don't care about anything. All that they want to see is to see these criminals in jail. That is the only thing that matters to them. Until that is done, nothing is done. So yes, because we saw what happened in this country. Yeah, nipa no mu wia en senko mu yenyansa for kranka now benya nipa onim nyansa no san wiawo now sign edin na na boni so di nkrase sem san kire and that pain na Ghana for ka say these people must go to jail.
All right, John Kwaku Sabi was Ivan is a great guy. Joseph Dawumo. Also, good morning, big man. Yeah, that's say. Yami Inshabo. Ubeti oba no wa follow no wa share. Na odo comment out to us. Ni akenkai edi ama. Me sure say demonstration ni dey di hu nkoma grofo match pass ya wo mukoyi. They say dey apia mu eye sumbo no.
Yeah.
Aha, say sumbo no na aye case because video na ba ya ye nya ye hu bi ne de afenya market de bob post ni nasum. Ba afenya market kata or tworo ye nra me kan ye no wo say post ni no na di kan ball no no bone bosa na afi na koma loko nyame nkwan collapse ye national service ni bi na bre ni nsuo na omde ne ko twere edan bi ho e na parliament clerk bi be fa no de ne ko da restroom enye sanko collapse nke bete no aye obituary ene ensema wa tworo bebre nti sa no on police in the kan ball na na because ye won say after asumbo no onya energy to us so koye de na obeye nti at one point no koda restroom at one point ye bre nsu anka wo collapse
oh ye joker and I make say you see afenyo market is a joker you see in some now can he's rather exposing himself so he's saying say the police officer na born asum na command kayati and I find it in so cool na call na oba onya hoden ba na obo police officer you see some of these things you see you are not deal maybe not joining so in a political campaign platform is now because there obi an check fact you obetimi atwo gum no fa ho adi the fact in say we are talking about somebody who is a sitting MP, minority leader of parliament. You see a police officer in a uniform. You know the uniform symbolizes authority of the state. The person, you know, because of the uniform he wears, you know very well, say, what we remember, I don't want we are MP. What's now on Sabon assume in a video, the best thing you can do is to just apologize to the people. You don't just try to spin the narrative. And you see, that is the old playbook of the MPP. Maybe I sometimes I'm surprised people don't see these things. Adu Boahen issue, you see how they are spinning the narrative. It's the same thing. This thing has happened. There is a video circulating. I am very bad for his image, and then as a forum. Yet he's trying to spin the narrative, and there are dogs within the media who fall for some of these things, and they're also pushing it. The fact is that why would a sitting MP attack a police officer in a uniform? A police officer no say nya wona wo ye demonstration ka o ma ho.
Yes.
And now Afenyo Markin is calling for equity.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the MPP as a political party are so patriotic to the sense that they care so much about Ghana democracy. Say Ghana for Sorengina and this in John Mahama say judiciary. Now me say since when? And more sense of nationalism and patriotism no since when? Koyatina Kroma in the last 8 years, who said being cross, some president appointees in Niamaya, Kroma saying they did not only threaten the foundation of our democracy, but endanger the very life of our people. We saw overriding tampering of our judiciary. Appointment individuals are any more quiet for so year staffing not just the Supreme Court now high court your friend is saying the appeals court individuals are you do ko see obi asem na wudi tie nipa ko wi na ya ba abaso ne atam na ko Supreme Court. Whole lot of nasty stuff happened in this country at that time. No Afenyo Markin and Co could not save our judiciary because it was okay for them. For me as a young man watching these people from afar, I see said these are fancy jokers out there that nobody should take them serious because we've gotten now no me can say me chiro has say na I'm on social media we said that video were trending. The funny aspect of it and now man for air share but the impact of the message the people are now getting me say generation no we don't threaten people me MP and I said me say generation we know I say I'm for a pen mouse social media now or before no I say mama watakra na man for you on be twempana no say tell people why you have to be respected. Tell people why this thing is not good and they should not go there. Don't threaten people. Say say. No, that shouldn't be the impact of the message. So why yes, I now we think that because you are just an MP and for that matter people respect you, you will end up in the gutters because people will see you for who you are. The mere fact is that MP and the infantry and the power to attack a police officer in uniform, and instead of you to apologize, you are just trying to spin the narrative to make it look like the gentleman attack you. Your narrative doesn't even make sense. It defies logic, it defies reasoning and common sense. Because what's it Obama when you brew and I found do call baby and the Obo now buy and also so about be an answer saying does it even make sense in any way? So for me, I think that these people should be disregarded. Nana Mekacho said the MPP has now become a sinking enterprise. It's a party that is going down. Instead of them to elect reasonable men of conviction to bring the party back, there are a lot of intelligent people in the MPP. And Mekacho said, Obiti said, "Watchie Jakone, sa adenimo, wine, These are men uti omonum kasa. You could see, sir. These are men of substance. These are people who should be leading the rehabilitation of the party, not an emotional stricken individuals who come, they open their mouth and they get people angry the more. MPP by oppositioning, Ghana for are even getting more fed up and angry with the way and manner they are acting because they become so much combative. This is a party that was known to be a party of intellectuals. Mahama Basia, Abadan station boys, Omo Kasao to Kura Otinchana or Osima or Sianfim. But the intellectuals no more party no. All of them have been relegated to the background. And all of them have become insignificant in the affairs of the party. And a liberty quote unquote this bunch of emotional idiots and destroying the fortunes of the party. For me, I care about the MPP coming back as a strong political party to be the opposition we want them to do. You understand? But as long as they continue to allow these jokers, these attention seekers to continue to dominate the news for bad reasons. Now, at the end of the day, the party will not get back. Thank you, Tom. They've suspended it. It ended up in another big dog fight. Dog bite dog. Yes, and dog bite dog. Exactly. So this whole thing, you see how. So we are Nipa now party. You should be worried. This is a party under Kufuor time. high pay to be party of intellectual and as for na ni nyina san no moboa taxi drivers from America and as for no course on back room the catch say what university about university for corners kwan na nwura muda. These jokers came into this country, they stole from the state, and now they've got him money talking nonsense on TV. Say, men are making sikana, men are making way. You see, they need to come down from the high horses. Arrogance, me say, in this space, our politics, in this space, our governance. Yeah, do you know why people become arrogant when they get political power? Yeah, they be a funny inferiority complex. When you don't believe in yourself, you think that you have nothing to offer. Yeah. You need external to hang on to become relevant. And Nipano on their own, he knows that he cannot compete. He has nothing to convince you. So Osikadie and as any other material thing, coming back to complement and taking care of those things he's lacking. And becomes so much arrogant to the sense that he's not even ready to listen to you again. When people lack wisdom and intelligence, they don't want to engage you in argument. So what they do is they become very vocal and very frontal. And so when they can't say, Mukasamu come na makaninyansa sema, he cannot survive. So I say I don't talk. And growing up, uko school as a teacher anyway, timo no sa na no, I beneath it in most of them. Because they have certain intellectual weakness. I don't even want students to get closer to expose them. It's the reason why you will not even get close. They ward you off with that kind of behavior, that kind of aggression. And for me, the MPP, those ala nena se forum, ala minim se wajaye so basi baba and those other individuals, they need to take the center stage and rescue their party from these criminals and attention seekers. Because as long as the MPP continue to be in the hands of these jokers, trust me, the party will go nowhere. But the party need to come back, regroup, and at least act as a reasonable opposition. Criticizing, and for me, tell me what moral authority does the MPP as a political party have at this time to be talking the way they are talking? But this is a party while wrecking the foundations of this country. They've destroyed this country. The economy of this country was on the downward spiral. And John Mahama by within 4 months was a wine. Look at how the dollar has been able to stabilize. What beside how is able to do that? Senka Baumiane MPP pension and Kadi we see and can lectures are hold on more organizing Ukrumano and Kenya the Ketua. But here we are once again. People are not even talking about it. The John Mahama is not even celebrating this particular feast though. But it's a great achievement. What me here and the city. So for me, I think that we need to stay focused. These people are ready to learn their lessons. Arrogance and more the power. That kind of unwitty decisions no make at the time. Is the same. I'm fighting for me. Dancer argument team. Now I'm catch out a Ghana Bar Association. Another group of people, they were just barking like dogs. They were not able to tell you what John Mahama has done wrong, and for that matter, that's what punish you will be. But see, now what will be at reasons? And as you go back to what John Mahama has done. These are a crazy bunch of individuals because you see, the power to suspend or not to suspend Chief Justice, the Constitution, the President, okay, Article 146 down was or say, see, it may establish a premier facility. Now say you set up a committee. The President has the power either to suspend or allow the Chief Justice. That is a discretionary injunction on the President, and only him alone. We are Ghana Bar Association. I was say on resign. To me, the one case I said, damn the whole team because you should know law. That's what I'm telling you. So as a lawmaker, as a lawyer, you should not be talking like somebody who make coffin. Because no, you want to say fundaka. But as a lawyer, if you are talking like somebody, sabi only way, you know very well that particular President alone. So why will you interfere? He can decide to or not to. But to say you had no court because I exercise just I said, damn baby. That is why the association has become some kind of a political movement. So for me, I think that we need to focus and stick to the na yama Ghana for who say on mind by be Ghana for emotional gullible individuals do anything and get away and become way relevant. And Ghana for demonstration almost as you see how they were treated. Nobody took them serious. You understand? So for me, I think that we really need to stay on track and make sure that near Ghana for deserve the omo panel. That is what we do.
All right. Listowel aba I cut 10 minutes in your pong. We 10 minutes now. Can the man never be traffic a crow could say, Moody. Yamen Kwane and Boafo.
Why you say if you said your mama bay will be your freedom into be a Pia Bonte come
now the first uncle phone P.
First no Pia Bonte, petrol boy better than what you. It's a man for Pacu cars. Now I'm not joining for cars. Just so that they are able to move about. Okay. Contribute to another. Say, I come one year top petrol. Innocent came one year top petrol. Now this week innocent the year call. Next week now the year call. Yes, I'll bet you do. It's as I say no. No, I'm but they say you will be able to the car because petrol boy from. This why I call from dollar this city will be a come. They say will be a year more Ghana. Oh,
okay. Instead of traffic
there's too much traffic. If you are not to here, I have spent more than 2 hours in traffic.
Wow.
From Adringano. And there's a Kenyan John Mohammed and say, yeah, to a swimmer, I can
know theatre. Fair case, also JDM should reactivate the fast track court as soon as possible. This NPP joking thieves must be dealt with ruthlessly. Tracy Mensa was sister pepe. Okay, brother, so your time no dia can ye de ma we asa. Na Adu Boahen letter ya e fly ni sika baby o chiche ye bi kumi ye sure say we bi. So your comment on it na.
I really treated it with the contempt it deserves.
Okay.
Yes, because sebi mama check for yes say money mo apasoni adwuma so awo ye na me chia me nua innocent. No so adwuma so awo ye. Na kopon e malice. Too intelligent and he deserves a lot. Until I knew that we were having very competent discussions. Until not just who is a mystery.
There's a what trouble.
Now, say Adu Boahen pa on kase odiskano kura koma Mahama and the year campaign by year president.
And family.
Tio, I tell you, we are scanning. Answer the Ebetina Cotuno.
Yeah.
I tell you, this can be Boa Conhoma, man, you didn't in many a big year. Into the end. Oh, because MPP ni, not General, at the said yes, Sebi, and collect the agro one, Yemua, while Rebecca Sebia, as a man, pro one, someone now. Oh, my Jimmy. Tio, what bokrono and yatso. Yatso say scalocram me we are and me ma widi. Oh, what can we? What can we no? What of via counterfeits? No, the koto we were just say a shop just say menisa. I was down. What toy no? And I what one I was sissy. It was sissy na post back. And our police in so one rule. And also tree. Who could do court as a court? Posting in crown or tree. Naka better a person who say, a win and now. This is the question. See, kind of where we are. As to who you get the money to, we don't care. Court, no caucus, some we catch the judge. There is a judge, so now you not perform to say they're not what you say judge for we're going to have because of Tokunu or Munina about them. Corner caucus has no court. Sometimes they give me a reason to believe why young standing in Indiano difference nation. I didn't go and now. Oh, the case as with the beer for people to avert their minds to one thing, say, no. Wisdom. They could have given any meaning to wisdom or given any term to wisdom than Nyansa. If you don't have it, you can't apply any form of the beer money. Se si ya yetiwe. Se binim Nyansa, a beer, assembly Americano. Without recourse to cognitive thinking. Yeah. Common sense. Enti neleto ni dey you. Ever this say and my opposition parties.
Because some van machine by election coalition.
Opposition parties. They are part of the governance structure. You can democracy now. Yeah. a multi-party democracy. If they have been beneficiaries of it, show us the illegalities. Then it amounts to your charges. It increases your charges. If you know, say, giving monies to opposition parties is an illegality. It increases your charges. Did you bribe them? If it's a form of bribe, then it means that the one that took the bribe and the giver, they are both guilty.
Yeah.
If it's gifts, there was here about gifts. Say emremuno, or say tax. Maybe we can discuss that. But as far as I'm concerned, you were holding a public office. You have been discussed as an embezzler, a thief, a common thief. Your father, Professor Adu Boahen, he was only known historically to have been the good professor. The good old professor died. And I didn't know he was training his sons to be thieves. Thieves. Ne baba ko de I find them say so mo ye ho adwuma.
Finance ministry.
Serious.
Ne baba ko. E dey say osafuma fu ye kronfo, ne ma ya kronfo. Adu Boahen ye kronfo, ne ma ya kronfo. Akufado ye kronfo, ne ma ya kronfo. Kenoforiata, ne ma ya kronfo, ono so ye kronfo. Bedi atwo ne ba ECG kronfo, ono bedi atwo na mu kronfo, Gabi same. Just say MPP no akwai to say a crime scene. Everything they just come about to do no akwai say no deplete bibia. Yeah, report money of after all yeah property owning democracy. Yeah property owning democracy. Yeah the bibia bia no we should be averting our minds to only one thing. How do we own properties? And omo namna a conservative for the property owning your friend is a Democrats. Jake, no, just a buying sa seni a buying japadia, and Ramitie, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Then the short atame. No good leader would allow for ne subordinates. Say, oh. O manager padi e mon tonton na mon fa na me so mama bi onye se se ya oba ya ni o ma kochiwi che se enra me hwe 120 days awadi now we share the conversation it's as if he's accounting for about 8 or 10 years stewardship. And the accounts he's rendering he is being very submissive to the core. Say he sees himself as a servant leader, and he or you answerable to be bia or pledge here, any the one pledge and so why or can the SCA about the obeto ye any baby aqua drew. This is leadership, and you say akwa MPP the ba mu ye no ye the kalabule kwaso be report money of the abano e was wo ye krampo sebi bo ba ye nka e blocks ahodo adwoma ma ye to asoma ni wie payo ene ni sika no de ye ene ma melody na ma fi mommy pa be tin chache ma menchia no papa afi hu no wo ba bia but yes adwuma wo bo no enya asem
so no ye silent you obehu oshawa obehu ni ase wo commission
oye obi a oye papa kura na okoka na obontia na ne buo
ai menim say yes sa doti
on pesa o si we ma we ade ma we
man we hu
ntino why ade kura wo da na se kura no nti mommy ba bia wo bia na chia now so wo hwe ni akoso in the past now the only thing that solved this whole problem me who say enkofo adwuna koso na da be na edi we be kokko da be na edi we be oh you say opre wo e pause a mojaba what you say but your mama o te say president kofo e frama odi huhu paade a wonya o say president kofo can say me some time ago o say ensuo hia emfa nipa ensuo nyinu na fa nipa na odi boko eguso e dwa aboa tatia se ne be ya obetini ayi ne nso enti de me hu ni say on rashe enkoti because Professor Mills buy no not John Kofo careless ajekum Kofo ofa kofi na wa makot ho no maye sandwich kama who dey asem court pa ni aboato agu enti me ofanum kwasi o se je nu nyina satam ne de na me tame ofanum aji pa na me nim se me ofanum na omo aya lebe kakranti ti wo se cases ne kokota ni abrosko
ni aboato agu
ema asabi num de nyina
ya e botugu yi
e chena professor Minister say oh munya monka na omujai ma ne kai enu na MPP eba abamu biemu no omudi timu po bi ba say ye wi akora na we jo mahama oba huntimi nye
ya mpake court
with impunity no yenye de yebetimi na fe no se ko ba kra se na adwen sesa ye mpake court no se ne be ya court no ya sen koduru wa omo ye yan kofo a omo so ye no mo na commit crimes no because Akufo created a syndicator akronfo syndicator what in abusuafo ne na yonkofo e na hyehyehye baabi a enti asamba sese ya hwe in the case of Kyei Jaben Kyei Jaben e hye na adwuma ase no na gadi hey me na mde okotena ho ye careful e ma Kyei bufu no e ma ne ye se wo ye na adwuma when he said he was threatened at some point his life was in danger.
Yeah.
He's not able to tell all these things because sometimes he feels it's part of the hazards of the job.
Yeah.
Occupational hazards. His life was threatened 3 months to the election. Now he said that he had to flee out of town because omo pene kunu dendende. Se se ya kase nyame na ya adu na bai fofra ba ka Kyei Jaben bi akwa lose in life. Obi ti baabi na adwen ye say na Kyei Jaben wonya adwuma. How can you work as obi a wokoche kronfo e wa Akufo abam when he the president is was a thief? The one that you are working for no is the thief, and he has some other syndicates omo na ebo krono no. How could you have worked under Akufo Addo? Joma baye won Kyei Jaben adwuma wo more than a silent killer. Say you so well prepared or ye na adwuma. Enti amafo nya botre me say first na me pon call pentem seriously say ka de chin ya ka do mama nya o mukura mu street mu ne mo bo mo papa o ma no e wi ani apam mo akobun sa when because from for there uti na bo ne yebo no na so do mama hu say e wi ase de nyansa e ne bibia
all right
ani nimdie
aka 1 minute
manu sie no mo ma nyina nya botre me de afutuo ne beba say ye nyina mo ye nya botre do mama enya dia
na botano ye bia dru ba bia hwa ye nya bia mu
oh yes but say no enya dru ba bia wo say ye nya botre umi enya botre do mahama me te say so ba bibi e friend national tribunal
okay
e ho no ye du ko gina ho a na atu nu nya me because sebi oral over 2000 petitions akọ oral nim a wabo exama eye attorney general the able and most learned Happy before ya no mu dwa manu no mo kasa no mo yayi mu obi a oye doctor te say doctor Ayenia o ni mu mra mo fa ni metre so an koto certificate ni po dia happy lawyer nyina he o mo koye demonstration o mo certificate o mo toye o mo anko school eti law no mo nim all they know is the judge they have always relied on the judge enuntina hwani pa domo a o mo Emma omo appointment and san omu fra bam illegally no ye yi sankofo bebrebe na di no ade no man koye ho demonstration between sankofo bebrebe na ye yi omo di no so omo do omo party ma na omo pe omo asem a ade na no man nya ho demonstration na tokonu ba akopɛ ya wono wodi ne sa akobo aban sikamu di ni from the sesa bi ma pohine na ko fa ne kra ensie abomu aneti no yesa
all right
eti no medimanu si na ahobrasiem na no krobia di na woda na sene krobia di awoda ne fefe no na nyankwada nyakopon entuni nkwanem na sebi yenya ne somfa so se de o man nya ne da
okay
matise yese won si ne kotina fidie so ma ohene afishia pa nti me ka asisu bia wa fidie edu kuma ase du menhia me bra na ahemfo mienu bi frefre me se my late me ka no
o message ko da wa ha
nti me gina afidike sie so na ahema ma so nan e de enkrato akọ krobia hemfie na mama no na nyankwada na Nakopon emma ne nkwatenten se ne be ya yebenya ne so mfaso bebre odin fie wo ha na me anya de wo so o ma ne di oha ne akire se ne be ya yebenya ne so mfaso fie bebre wo nanimu a wo se bi yetimi edinya ne so mfaso nti ohene na no pe mi gidi se wa fidie da ha mawo awoda pa na watwi nyina edidi wa awoda eno no wealth utufo
de hey, they weak wow. Okay, but me da say papa. All right, bra Listowel me da wase. Bra innocent so me da wase papa. Wo bo mpaye ma wo tumfo e de. Me mpaye bo no de me de be ma baba Ibrahim Mahama. Na no akoda ya asuni yonko school ni ko bo na ni tuo no. Nyame adom waka o de afa ne so ama yenua ba no nyakoto. Enti baba Ibrahim Mahama so ye ko nhira na yeshira ni bi nyame yeshira papa nti na ade baba no baba na se kire baba guda
aka 21
na no obi be ye video bi o se mo sare amudidi ntafo atem enso Ghana ha obi aho kire na tani ya nim na mowe ya mama ye fo obuo ni ane di ma ye ho kakra
oba se wo hwe mu pa mimi se mi yetani
na say
because asati ni bi enu height we me ko fa free
Mama John, that notes. Ya na munya se ya be adu ochina. Thank God it's Friday. Ye be share. O height and we di free no.
Senka we no ka kane na ko bia short. The pushings. Na me ya don na se say.
Height ya babu a.
Na wo hwekofo a.
Wo hwekofo o munyi ya free.
Wo hwekofo dia na che say ye nyina ya ye ntaf.
Za ho.
Kane no ne ye kosre. Sebi men marketing na wa free stream
normally asante form
enti media in fact me hu 10 years no mani age papa
that's it pacha chira yebisia
enye 10 years kamenwa
esewa
ese ko ba yeli pushing ka Listowel na afi na metwe me kon
all right, thank you very much.
Let's talk about 10 you know so mama fa akonya we so asumdue e ade ehu hia wo boko
na boko fo to kan
club ya so mu de ba ye bese se ye nua no madobre o enkwan ye da de wo tetrema mu ba tetrema so se bi wuwu a yentimi fa nkwan enso se be sere mo
mama ajobre emra
on business bi wo ho ye se agu
ya asemo news at 10 any day 2 hours so ya crown